I would be very attracted to a man who is already in therapy. That would be like, woo! Sign me up. You in therapy? Hey!
I wanted to actually get your thoughts on therapy. Have you been have you been to therapy, or would you go to therapy with your partner, and like when?
Well, I have been married for 3 years. We've been together for 11 years. Okay. So I am like a huge advocate of therapy. I always feel like it's really important because when you're coming to a relationship, you're both raised differently. And it doesn't matter if you're like the same race or not. My husband isn't black, but either way, everyone is not raised the same. You don't have the same morals and values. And so you're coming from these completely two different environments and you're trying to become one. So the way you think and handle everything is different. And then everyone has trauma. Me and my husband were probably like 2 years into our relationship. Okay. We only dated for like 4 months before we found out I was pregnant. So that added to that. And we were 25 years old. So it was just like, it got to a point where I think we were going to either break up or we had to have an outside source. Like, I'm such an advocate of that because it's a non-biased opinion too. Right. Yeah. But it like really saved our relationship. I mean, we've been together for 11 years now, but it definitely saved our relationship.
So therapy with your boyfriend at the time.
Boyfriend. We had a child. I think if we didn't have a kid, I wouldn't have went to therapy with him because I probably would be like, I'm bi. I'm not doing.
You were committed to making it work for you.
Which is weird. Not committed to us being together. I wasn't committed to us being together. I was committed to us being healthy for our daughter. Okay. Yes. That's why we went to therapy. It really wasn't even for us to stay together. It was because I was like, no matter what, we're in one another's life, and I wanted us to have a healthy way of communicating and just dealing with one another.
That's interesting because I've been in my relationship for 2.5 years, and we have tried therapy recently.
Really?
Yeah, and it just opens up all this stuff. And it's like a breath of fresh air, and you just get things that maybe you just didn't. You know, if you know better, you do better. Right. It's that simple.
Absolutely. And you plan on marrying him?
I mean, yes.
Well, that's good. And that's why it's important to make that, because I wasn't wanting to be married. So that's why I think I wouldn't have even engaged in it. But because if you want to marry someone, I'm always like, you should go to therapy, even if you're not having problems. Yeah.
Right. And I think even in the absence of problems, there's so many solutions that just, come from someone else helping you unpack things that you didn't know were stored in a suitcase.
Right. Right.
It's interesting. So I'm engaged. It's been a topic of thought. Like, he wants to go individually as well, just because we both have high stress jobs and we are both anxiety stricken people because of that. And we don't want to bring that home, but obviously it's just the human. It's just what it is. But part of me is like a little apprehensive about it because I've gone to therapy once by myself in an amazing therapist, but I cried the whole time and I was like, never again. I'm queen of the shutdown and he knows that. And it's interesting because he'll be like, I don't know what you're feeling. You're so cold. I can't read you. And I don't ever want to, it's not what I want to express to him. That's not what I want him to feel. However, it's also scary knowing like, okay, we are getting married next year. Like, it's a great thing, but I don't know why I'm afraid to bring up some of those things.
They're gonna come up regardless.
And I think it's natural. Which is why there is natural.
I don't know why I think it's better to wait. It's like, well,
sure. If you're gonna eventually do that,
wait till you lock it down. You're like, you're stuck with me and my issues.
You're stuck. But I don't know. It's interesting.
I've been into therapy by myself as a child. My parents broke up when I was about 11, so it was very helpful for me. Whereas our relationship now, I am in a relationship with my boyfriend for about a year now, but we have great communication skills, period. I treat him as my best friend, so I tell him like it is, whether he likes it or not, and vice versa. So right now I can say we're okay. When children and weddings and other family members come into play, maybe we will do that, but right now I'm making a choice to be healthy for myself. So if that means that I need to say something, whether he likes it or not, but I know it'll help us grow, I will do so. So it's a lesson learned of what makes me happy at the end of the day. So
Okay. How you feeling? Would you go to therapy?
I'm in therapy.
Okay. With a partner?
No, I'm single. Okay. So I go individually. I will say I come from a long line of like trauma, as many of us do, and it's only since I've been like become an adult that I've seen like why certain family members are in the situations that they are, like the history of our family, combined with never dealing with problems, combined with undiagnosed mental health problems, combined with stigma about seeking out therapy. I have a family member who had a bout of suicidal tendencies, and it was so crazy to see how everyone just sort of like imploded because no one knows how to deal with any of this stuff. Even when I tell my parents like, oh, I'm going to therapy on Thursday, they're sort of like, so anyway, and I'm like, okay, that's totally okay, because I know that I'm benefiting from this. Sure. And I was in a lot of like serious relationships in my early 20s, and I didn't think anything of it. Like I just sort of like just leaped right in, and now I'm doing so much deconstruction of self that I actually feel the furthest away from a relationship that I've ever felt probably my entire life. Which probably means I may be closer.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's
maybe.
really good though.
Yeah.
So would you go to therapy then before? Because a lot of people just, you know, they're like, the only time you go to therapy is like premarital counseling, and then if the shit is gonna hit the fan,
right?
Like that's it. There's no
last resort.
pre-therapy. There's there's no everything's great. Let's just go to therapy. I mean, there's things to talk through. So,
well, when I'm meeting somebody new, like if I'm gonna start dating someone, I definitely would want to know what their feelings were about therapy. Like, I would be very attracted to a man who is already in therapy. That would be like, woo! Sign me up.
yeah.
You in therapy? Hey!